Before Jackie Robinson or Muhammad Ali, there was Joe Louis.
So yesterday I was watching a Joe Vincent documentary about Joe Louis, and I was just mesmerized by how much of a man and how upright this guy was.
A great inspiration in so many ways to so many people.
And how he just inspired so many people. And I realized something. It could be me, I could be wrong, but I feel like in terms of combat sport, the time of heroic figures is kind of dead. It's like that time is kind of, it's over, you know what I mean? And when I think of like the 20th century, there's like Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, and I'm sure there's others. But when it comes to the 21st century, I feel like I'm a big fan of Mike Tyson, Roberto Durant and them guys, but I feel like it became more trendy to be like a mean, like a bad man, like a bad guy, you know what I'm saying? Not the upright citizen and the role model, because it's just out of fashion right now, do you know what I mean? But when I was a kid, maybe I'm different or something, I always used to look up to like the heroes, do you know what I mean? Like the good guy, do you know what I mean? But then as I grew up and etc., like I feel like pop culture just taught me to just look up to the bad guys, do you know what I mean? And I feel like being good or being quote unquote heroic nowadays is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit cringy. Is it the times? Does it reflect people? You know? What is it? You know what I mean? Because when I look at Joe Louis here, like, this guy was the lead, like, this guy was literally like Captain America. Like, if there was a real life Captain America here, I think it would be Joe Louis. Because he embodied everything.
The Army exposed Louis to the military's double standard, and he didn't like what he saw. Soft-spoken though he was, he made his feelings known.
They would complain to him about their condition, about the racist conditions.
He'd pick up the phone and said, "It's not right down here, Truman, get it fixed." And the next thing you know, that general on that base would get a phone call from Washington and whatever was wrong got fixed.
Even though in the end, the country that he fought for literally did not back him, they didn't fight for him back. He was left penniless.
I'm feeling fine.
Do you enjoy your work?
I do. I enjoyed him very much.
How long have you been working here at Caesars as a greeter?
7 years.
7 years.
7
You seem to
years.
have a lot of the old fighting spirit in you, wouldn't you say?
No, I don't think so, but I enjoy working here. I got a lot of wonderful people come in.
He was the ideal American, do you know what I mean? And to be honest, like, it's hard to be perfect. And it's hard to portray yourself in a certain light because it's tremendous pressure. Like, no one is perfect. But I feel like in this age more than ever, we need someone that stands for something, stands strongly for something, a type of value, a type of philosophy that shows the right way, you know, even if it's a hard life to live. For instance, like not smoking in front of like cameras and stuff like that, not getting drunk all the time in front of the kids or in front of the world, not cursing as much. All these little things, you know, just showing a good example. And it's hard to say, obviously I understand that a lot of fighters do good, like behind the scenes and everything. But what about the way you're just influencing the others, you know? There's just not that fighter that's just like Superman. You would never imagine Superman like smoking a blunt or getting drunk or like even, for example, getting into bar fights outside, unless it's like defending someone. Do you know what I'm saying? You'll never hear about that. You know, or getting drunk, like, or speeding or stuff like that. You'll never hear something like that. You know? And I feel like we need more people like Joe Louis. I feel like the closest thing to like a hero in terms of combat sport in our century, I could be wrong, was Pacquiao. Pacquiao was like a national hero. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like heroes are just like, they're like benchmark of our society. Do you know what I mean? It's like, they're like, we put them up there because they're our symbol. You know what I mean? Just like in My Hero Academy, like All Might, he was like the symbol of peace. Do you know what I mean? And we just need individuals like that. And even outside of combat sports, even like in the NBA, the NFL, athletes in general, it's like, I feel like we just fell off in terms of standards. You know what I mean? I feel like the famous people should be like the benchmark of like, okay, this is what we should aspire to be as people. But what we have nowadays is the opposite. The famous people tend to be the worst. Do you know what I mean? The most depraved, the most, you know, the people that abuse drugs, that abuse people around them. It's just not what it used to be, and it's very sad. What's better, portraying yourself a certain way but actually being something else, or just being fully yourself? It's a hard question because no one is perfect at the end of the day. But I believe that it'll be refreshing to have someone that stands for something, that made people feel like they're still good in the world, you know? But yeah, that was just some food for thought. Let me know what you think in the comment section.
Joe Louis had World War II on the horizon. The President of the United States called him up, and you had Nazi Germany. You had a guy named Hitler that is saying that he's got, you know, the master race. He's going to take over the world, just starting that stuff. He gets in that ring and he annihilates with all this pressure, with that he's got to save basically the United States and the world from looking like this ugly disease of the Nazi party is going to take over the world, is greater than us. And he single-handedly has to prove that. And he goes in there and he annihilates the guy in one round, with all that stuff hanging over him. I think that's the greatest single event in the history of the world.
Pull that fight up.